My name is Taylor Fronchak, and I'm doing my report on arsenic poisoning. Arsenic is a naturally occurring metalloid. The inorganic arsenic compounds are more harmful than organic arsenic. Inorganic compounds have a higher chance of reacting with cells in the body, which then displaces elements from the cell and changes the cell's functions. Arsenic also combines chemically with sulfhydryl groups on proteins or enzymes and activates them, which inhibits other processes in the human body. From the time of the Roman Empire to the Middle Ages and Renaissance, arsenic was king of poisons. The current uses, however, include insecticides, pesticides, herbicides, paints, ceramics, alloys, wood preservatives, and additives to animal feed. The mineral forms were known of as early as the 4th century BC. However, Albertus Magnus is originally credited with the discovery of arsenic around 1250. The first precise directions for the preparation of metallic arsenic are written by Paracelsus. He was a physician alchemist in the late Middle Ages and is often called the father of modern toxicology. Dioscorus was a Greek physician in the court of the Roman Emperor Nero. He described arsenic as a poison in the 1st century. The lack of color, odor, and taste when mixed with food or drink made it an easy and undetectable poison. Since it was also a naturally occurring poison, it made it easy and accessible for anyone to get. The symptoms were difficult to detect because they mimicked those of food poisoning and other common disorders at the time. Arsenic is absorbed by inhalation or oral consumption. The main current cause is the consumption of infected water. The water becomes infected or contaminated when underground and surrounded by arsenic-releasing rocks. There is no risk, however, from touching rocks that contain arsenic, as the contact with arsenic-containing rocks will not lead to effective absorption or clinical concerns for poisoning. Once consumed, however, more than 90% of the arsenic is absorbed into the bloodstream, where it is then transported to targets of toxicity. Arsenate is used as an alternative substrate for phosphate-requiring enzymes. An anhydride bond between arsenic and carbon will quickly hydrolyze in water as well, and the arsenate will attach at step 6 instead of phosphate, which creates 1-arsenose-3-phosphoglycerate. Water hydrolyzes the bond, creating 3-phosphoglycerate, which should have formed after step 7. As you can see in the previous slide, this skips over 1,3-biphosphoglycerate and jumps immediately to 3-phosphoglycerate. So you lose out on the production of 1 ATP molecule, meaning you have a net worth of 0 ATP. Because hydrolysis occurs non-enzymatically, the energy release can't be used to generate ATP. So arsenate wastes metabolic energy by uncoupling the phosphotransfer reaction. This is why it's such a dangerous poison. The short-term effects first affect intestinal lining, which quickly produce painful symptoms, which include nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, sweating, and the burning of the throat. This is then quickly followed by collapsing and death, and a large dose death can happen within either a day or a few hours. It is possible, however, for someone to build up a tolerance to arsenic, meaning that a dose that would usually kill someone else would not kill them. Remaining traces of arsenic can also be found in a person's hair, fingernails, or urine. This is due to the fact that arsenic does not break down completely, and it can be discovered using urinalysis or an autopsy. Long-term effects start with weakness, tiredness, scaly skin, and changes in skin pigmentation, as you can see on the photo to the right. Swelling of the lining of the mouth then begins, and then degeneration of nerves. The degeneration of nerves causes tingling or numbness and moments of paralysis. Death eventually comes from bone marrow failure, heart failure, or infection. In a big dose, gastric lavage and fluid replacement are vital, which lasts 2 to 3 days. In gastric lavage, a tube is inserted through the mouth or through the nose into the stomach. The toxicants are then removed using flushing saline solutions into the stomach. This is then followed by the suction of gastric contents out of the stomach. This process is then followed by penicillamine until arsenic levels in urine drops. The patient should also be treated for dehydration, shock, pulmonary edema, and liver damage at the time. Small overtime doses or acute poisoning are treated with dimercaprol, which is a medication used to treat acute poisoning by arsenic, mercury, gold, and lead. And then that is the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening.